Alright, so let's get started then. So this lecture is, oh, okay. Nice that you can't hear me, Rukus. So this lecture is going to be on the Double Kakari, specifically against the 4 point. It's a variation that can lead to a lot of complications, and a lot of time I see it misplayed. There's a lot of very important variations to choose from, depending on the situation around the stones. No triple Kakari lecture yet. So, it's very important to not only know that, oh, this is a correct variation, but to know which variation is the proper one in certain situations. So, with that being said, obviously the basic situation is black has played the star point, and white approaches, and black tanukis usually to do something else important. And then white double approaches. And we're going to talk about some of the other approaches later, the high approach, the far approach, and how those change this. But for starters, we're just going to get with we're going to start with the most common one, the double standard low approach, and how black can respond to this. So, any ideas? What should black play here, guys? And gals? Let's see, we have P15, we have Q14, R17, O16, and yeah, these are usually the most common ones that you will see. Yeah, these four are basically, I mean, you can find a few games where you'll see other ones, but 99 out of 100 times, these four moves. So let's start off with, well, actually, let's start off with C. C is not as common as the others. It's a rather special purpose move, actually. This is basically designed to allow black to keep a small corner and to ensure that he lives. Well, actually, you can't necessarily say that. This is very dangerous for a white to attempt right now, depending on what's going on the rest of the board. But this can be a difficult fight. Depending, does black have help on the right? Does white have help on top? Yeah, so this can get very complicated for both sides. So it's not always a good idea for white to attempt to seal directly. It really depends what else is going on the board. But R17 is a special purpose move. It's when you need to make a very safe corner, and either you're scared of going into the center, or you want to aggressively split white and attack either O17 or R14. But it's a rather special purpose move. We're going to primarily focus on the other three moves. A, and then the symmetrical moves of D and B. So for starters, let's look at A at P15. This is a bit of an old-fashioned move. You don't see players play it as much in modern Go, but professional players, but it is still played. It definitely is still played, and it's definitely a move you have to be aware of because your opponents will certainly play it. And so there's a lot of things that white can do. You know, sometimes white will even tanuki here. But assuming that, assuming white doesn't tanuki, what is the standard move for white? Pretty common stuff. Yeah, R17. There's really not much variation here. You just take the 3/3, and then from here, this is just the most basic variation. Black has a few choices actually. The simple one that most players learn first is to play a Q17 or R16, but if you want to play some more advanced variations, yes, Red, you can play N16 or Q13, and these are variants which emphasize influence rather than territory. So there's a number of things that can be done here. Sometimes yeah, in modern times, N16 and similar moves have become a lot more popular. If a lot of times what will happen is that both players will tanuki here, and they will just continue on elsewhere. Sometimes, if it is continued locally, white will often play here. Black will often descend. White will connect up his stones, and then black will fix his shape. And so it looks like, white gets these points, but, well, black does get a wall. And also we have to consider that, this does result from a double approach. So, I mean, black has tanuki from the beginning. So we can't expect black to necessarily get a perfect result, or a perfectly even result when compared to white, because it is responding to a double approach. But let's look at the two more standard variations that all of you will most likely, especially those of you who are Q players, will most likely see a lot more often in your games. So it's symmetrical here, but really it depends on what's going on the rest of the board. You know, what's the situation on the right side of the board? What's the situation on the top? Can Black's wall do him good on the right side or the top side? All global considerations. But then White's move is pretty simple here. And now now in this situation, I see a lot of Q players make a very big mistake here. And I want to try and erase this mistake from a lot of people's heads, is that they will play Q13 here. And Q13 might look nice at first glance, but it is a very poor move. The question is, why is Q13 a bad move here? R12. Well, there is some flexibility. So yeah, R12 is a playable response for white, but more than that, it just is. Let's see, P16, S16. So right, there's all sorts of AGA. Black's shape here is, it's not going to be cut anytime soon, but it can be abused. In particular, this move, first P16, is a great move to abuse the shape. So black could take an Atari here if he wants it, but then black has this horrible weakness that he needs to fix, and then white can take a great Sente move here. And then if white wants, white can just do this. And there's no way black can be thrilled with this move. Black's shape is atrocious, and his stones are over-concentrated, and white has gotten himself a large corner with access into the side. Black is usually pretty sad about getting this kind of result. And black still ends in gote. Yeah, you should not be happy. If you are black in this situation, then you have not played properly usually. Yeah, Don players will like to force Q players into this type of situation, and sometimes in handicap games. It's a mean thing that we do. So if Q13 is not right, what is right for black? Let's see, we have people suggest Q12. We have N15/16. Red, I'm pretty sure you know this already. I meant for, you know, the Q players. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this. P17, S17. Lots of ideas to look at. All right, let's take a look at some of these. So a few different choices. So this is an interesting move for black. Okay, Red. So this is an interesting move for black. Sometimes it's possible, but as a general rule, it's a little bit early for black to be playing here. Usually black will want to push against white's O17 corner group first, before he attacks R14, because there's some great forcing moves that that black has, and white still has this move, which still makes black's shape less than ideal. So let's see some of the other options. E. So this move does prevent white from taking S16, which can annoy people. But at the end of the day, I mean, so black will get this. But then the question becomes, well, what next? Yeah, white will oftentimes do this, and then black needs to fix his shape. And white can do something like this. And we can't say that black is thrilled with this result. R14 still has AGA if white wants to run later with R12. And white has a pretty solid corner. And black's shape is tough, but I would not call it ideal. You know, black has no solid points yet. So it's not a terrible move, but not exactly the best move we can do. So let's see, what other ones are there? So P17 is tempting, of course, because, you know, we've just looked at a million times how white plays P16, and that's just really annoying. So we can consider this, but usually white will respond with something like this, and black ends up with black ends up with slightly awkward shape is the problem. I mean, black still has an empty triangle, a dumpling, R14 is still pretty strong. Interestingly, this is very complicated. If white wants to attempt doing this, complications can arise depending on what's going on the rest of the board. Black can consider doing this, and it can lead to a lot of complications. If white demands to capture the stone, black can do something along these lines and steal the corner, and also make R14 look silly. Yeah, no, absolutely. S17 is definitely possible as a response. This is something of a trade. It depends upon... oh, first? Yeah. Yes, this is definitely a fine move. Yeah, I have no problems. That's a fine move. If black goes to separate, white could even consider Tanukiing here. His shape isn't in mortal danger anytime soon, and black is rather sad. So our two choices are B and C, which are both actually correct options. It depends on the situation. N16 is a more aggressive choice, naturally being a knight's jump rather than a one-space jump. It's something of an attacking, pressing move. It's trying to squish white against the side. And if white kindly plays N17, then black is usually pretty happy, and black can continue to build a wall and then consider pincering, and black is pretty pleased with himself. White isn't necessarily horrified, but black can make a fairly good wall and launch an attack. Well, N16, right, as white has to push from behind with N17. But the other thing that white can do is crosscut, and this leads to substantial complications for both sides. There's a lot of variations that can appear here, and I won't tell you that any of the variations that I show. Oh yeah, this is very, very common in handicap games. This is one of my favorite moves to play. Whenever anyone plays N16, it's not even a thought for me. I will just go here and cut, because if you don't know how to play out this fight, it's very difficult to play out right. So, and by the way, the variations I'm going to show here are not exhaustive by any means. There are still plenty more variations that would take many hours to go into all of them. But one of the basic ones is something along these lines. And then whites can sometimes play M15, sometimes play N14. And yeah, it can get very, very complicated from here. And then if white really wants to be complicated, I mean, handicap games, look at this. This is exactly what white wants to do, have an all-out, vicious fight to the death. And it can get exceedingly complicated, which is one of the reasons why... So when you play N16, you have to be ready to have a vicious fight. That's just a fact of playing the move. You have to be mentally prepared to viciously fight with white if you're going to play this way. The safer and more secure move, if you want to avoid such fighting, is N15. The idea being behind this move, first of all, not only does it attack R14, this weak white stone, but it also sets up later for a great move at M17 if black wants to build the top side. It's it's a classic direction move. So what should white do in response to it? See, we have S16, we have M16, we have, oh, that's changed to S17. Lots of interesting choices. Yeah, these two seem to be the predominant ones. Oh yeah, and well, we should probably keep S16, right? And M17. Sure, great variety of moves to look at. R10, sure, we can also look at R10. Alright, let's take a look at some of these. So let's go for starters with this move. Um, hmm. White can play this way. This is a rather aggressive response for white, and it's certainly playable. But it depends what's really going on, because it does have some nasty weaknesses that it leaves behind if white is not careful. In particular, if black manages to get a stone in the K17 area, for instance, even if it's a little further away, then this can be a rather brutal thing that black can manage. And there's all sorts of complications with that peep there. But nevertheless, I can't say that M16 is 100% incorrect. It's certainly playable. It's a move that really depends upon the global situation. So let's take a look at some of the others. The simple M17. This is a little bit passive here, I think. It's the right idea in terms of direction, but you have some good forcing moves first. I suppose it's playable, but oftentimes it's going to provoke black to do this, to threaten to seal white in, and black's wall is going to become very big. And whereas in the case of M16, black is loath to play this move to give white fourth line territory. Black is very, very hesitant to ever play a move like M15. But in this case, it's a lot easier for black to justify force, if white can only develop on the third line. So M17 may be a little bit passive. Let's see what else. So yeah, this S16, S17. These aren't bad ideas, but as we're going to see in a second, it's a bad move order. The move itself is a great idea, but the move order is off, as we will see in a second. So. Oh yeah, and we also need to look at R10. This is an interesting move. This is one of those moves that really depends on the rest of the board. It goes for flexibility with R12, but I guess the problem is it has a M17. I guess is the problem. And if black can build something on the upper left, then white is sad. And furthermore, there's a great forcing move that black has at P18. It's a powerful way for black to rip out the base. And white is usually unhappy. So usually R10 is not the best move. But actually the move here that's most common, well, one of the most common, is P16. And this is a very, very powerful move here. Yeah, there are no complaints against it. So often what we will see is black taking this forcing move and then defending here, and now white playing M16. And naturally black can't cut because of the Atari at N16, and so white is usually a little bit happier here. Furthermore, white still has a great forcing move at S16 later. And it is because of this kind of result that this really fell out of favor with professionals today about playing this variation. Because it's still sometimes played, but the feeling is that sure, black builds a wall, but the wall feels, pros don't like sticks, and the wall feels awkward. It has a peep here at B, there's still AGA with here, white still has forcing moves at S16, and white is developing fourth line territory. C could run out, but it really, once again, it's one of those things, depends on the whole board situation. So, yeah, this is one of the reasons why we don't see this P15 move as often today as we did in the past, because this kind of situation makes black feel awkward. So let's look at the moves that are much more common now. So sometimes we'll find P15. But B or D are the moves that, especially as you get stronger, you will see, so commonly. I mean, maybe, half of every game that has a star point will have something where black just attaches on top. It's just become really, really, really common on KGS. Well, right, and so naturally we have symmetry here. So if both sides are identical, then you can consider D or B. But if the sides are not identical, then obviously the moves are rather different. So naturally, one of the basic principles of Go that we have to be aware of is that when you attach to a weak stone, or when you attach to any stone really, both players' stones are going to become stronger when you attach. So, right. So when black plays this move, his Q16 stone is going to become stronger, which he wants, but so is R14. Now, O17 is probably going to become a little bit weaker, but you have to recognize that you're going to potentially make R14 stronger. So then the question, based on the whole board thinking, do you want R14 to become stronger? For example, if black is wanting to maybe develop a Moyo on this bottom right area, and you are letting white make, with a pretty simple, we'll say a simple variation, and you're letting white make a simple safe group here, black isn't going to be really able to develop much in the bottom right anymore in terms of a Moyo, because white is able to make a pretty simple and safe group. Now if we flip this around and let's say black plays on the other stone and attaches here, and we have the same variation, and there are of course other variations that can occur along the way, and we're going to discuss those. But something like this happens, and it's much harder for white. Black has this great ability to really develop his Moyo. There's also the global attacks you can launch against R14. Yeah, you can play N17 as a throw-in now for Super Moyo. This is a good technique to know. You can throw in 2 stones and then get a forcing move, and then a forcing move, and then a forcing move. And now, yeah, and now you can play something like this. And now it looks like black is probably going to be able to develop something really, really nice on the right side. Yeah, it's a great technique to know. Well, yeah, so sure. So the first move is here, and it's a wonderful, wonderful technique to know. Well, right, so, there are, red, of course, there are variations. Sometimes white will play here if he wants to grasp Sente back from black, and we'll play something along these lines. But, so we can always discuss there are other variations. There always are. But the simplest variation is white plays here, and black descends, and white goes to capture, and white wins the Liberty fight. But black has great forcing moves. A free forcing move here, a free forcing move here, and a free forcing move here. And black got to fix the cut in Sente, right. And now R14 looks rather sad, and black can make a good fight of it. But, okay, so let's look at the variations that we can have. So let's go back here. So, we already looked at one move that white can consider here at Q13. Is that the only move? Are there other moves that white can consider? Any other ideas? Let's see, someone said Q15. A lot of people said Q15. R15, R17, Q17, R13, wow, lots of choices, jeez. Just about every move on the board, jeez. Alright, so yeah, of course, you had to say Tengen. Q15, only answer. Alright, so let's take a look at some of these. This is a very interesting move, actually. This can lead to a lot of very, very complicated variations. Yeah, there's all sorts of ladders we can do. Honestly, I could probably talk for about half an hour on the things that can happen here. If you look at professional games, there are all sorts of variations for what white can do here, what black can do here. Sometimes you will see black play something as simple as this, and just let white do what he wants with R15. Sometimes you will see black do this and dare white into a all-out daredevil fight. Yeah, Q15 is a very, very complicated move. If we have time for it at the end, we will discuss, but I want to get through just about every other variation, and this one will take this will take a lot of time in and of itself. So let's look at the other ones. But I know I won't call Q15 wrong. It's just more of a if you want to viciously fight. So we already looked at this move. So I'll go back to this one as well. Let's look at some of the others. So this is something of a special purpose move. I think it's a bit passive here because black will usually just go here, and if white attempts to make his group stronger, all he's doing at the same time is weakening 017. And sometimes you can play this way. Sometimes white can play this way. It's true, but really depends on the overall situation. Yeah, I'm usually much happier with black here. Right, it really depends on what else is going on the rest of the board. Does white have friends, for instance, to help 017? Does white have friends to help this Q13 group? Right, does white have a Q9 already? You know, this is a very, very, very situational move, and I would not consider adding it to your standard array of moves unless you've already mastered all the standard variations. I would not recommend playing around with this. Well, right, and played in the right situation, it can be great. But unless you've until you've really gotten the hang of the regular basic moves, I would not recommend looking into this one. When played in the wrong situation, it can end up with a poor result. So this move, I haven't seen this move before. I don't think it's ideal for white though. Yeah, black is usually just going to wedge in like this, and now it seems that white is left with a kind of awkward shape. I mean, if black just plays very, very simple, something like this, you know, white can live, but black isn't exactly depressed that white has done this. Yeah, black is pretty happy here. So that's usually not the best idea for white. Oh, this is an interesting move. This can lead to a lot of interesting complications, or it can just revert to regular Joseki. If black does this move, well, yeah, R15 is a very calm way. If black does this move, there's a lot of interesting complex variants that can happen now. This, of course, is the most common way and a very simple one, and it reverts to Joseki. The Joseki we'll see in a second. And this is a standard result that you will see in many of your games. So yeah, if this happens, there's all sorts of things that can go on from here. I've actually seen white even play this, although this is a pretty special purpose. But this creates a lot of complexity for both sides. I think, yeah, it seems difficult. It's interesting. So, I guess black could probably expect something along these lines to occur. It doesn't appear to be awful for black. No, it's playable for black, I think. Black gets Sente, but yeah, it's not fantastic. It's yeah, usually it's a lot better for black just to play here and trade. There's nothing bad about it. It's perfectly playable. It's very simple, and there's no ugliness. You know, especially if you're just looking for a great way to respond, just do R15 usually. It's perfectly fine. So then the other variation we will oftentimes see is a direct invasion into the corner at R17. And as we were saying, it can revert to Joseki, because if black plays here, this should look pretty common to us. It ends up exactly the same. If black plays here, one of the more common things that can occur here is that something along these lines will occur. And then there's a few different variations, actually, that can happen right now. Sometimes black will continue playing like this. Many times it's good to pincer white here and just start a fight. Lots of things that black can consider doing here, depending on the situation. But the idea, of course, is, you know, force white in the corner, build a big wall, and attack 017. That's the standard idea behind it. But let's go back to this move that we looked at briefly, because there's a lot more variation to it. Most players just play the most basic variation, which we already saw, which is, you know, black plays up here, and white pushes, and black stops, and white defends here. Or sometimes it's R11, depending on the situation. And then, yeah, sometimes black will throw in here, as we saw. Sometimes black will do something along these lines to build a big moyo, to go for a moyo style. Sometimes, R13 directly? Yeah, R13 directly is a playable choice. Sometimes black will pincer, depending if white is very strong. Sometimes black will just go for the shape move. If black wants to leave open a invasion at, or you know, a potential invasion at R12 for later, sometimes black will just play here to fix his shape. Really, it really just depends on the situation, and you know, the best way to learn is just to play it in your games and you know, just think about what's going on the board. But there's a lot more variations here that are worth going into. R15, of course, is the one that everyone looks at. But what are other variations that besides R15 that white can play here that are important to look at? Let's see, we have R16, R17. Yeah, these are the two most common ones. Absolutely. Anyone have any others? Let's see, Q17, S15. Good. Yeah, these are the four most common ones. T19, of course. Yeah, not really though. P13, D4. Yes. Everyone loves to snooky and take the open corner, but of course we're talking about locally. All right, so let's take a look at these. So this move is very good to look at. This move presents black with a choice. Black can either wedge in here at R15, or he can hane at R17, and both have somewhat similar but subtly different purposes behind them. Let's take a look. If black plays this way, white will just respond this way. And black actually has a few interesting creative shape responses. I have seen games with players who play all three of these moves. They're subtly different from one another. And if I was doing a Don lecture or a top Q lecture later, we could talk about the specific differences. But in general, they're pretty similar in idea. The basic move is just to do this, and it's pretty clearly a trade. White wants to take the right, black wants to take the top. The bamboo joint? Have you seen the bamboo joint before? Really? I haven't really seen it before. I can't say I've ever seen it in a game. Yeah, Q18 is annoying. It creates a interesting shape situation. The idea being to attack O17 and give black better shape in the corner. But of course, it also leaves a little bit of AGA here later that black has to make sure to be aware of. And this can lead to, depending on what's going on the rest of the board, all sorts of really, really, really complicated situations. The Double Kakari, by the way, if you haven't got this already, it leads to a lot of complex things. If you're going to play it, or if you're going to allow your opponent to play it, you have to be prepared to engage in some pretty intense fighting. So the other choice for black is to wedge in here at R15. And then white will respond there, black responds here, white makes the shape move, black gets a great Atari at R17, push here, and then from here there's a lot of flexibility. Sometimes black will play P17, sometimes he'll play S17, sometimes play L17, O11. It really, 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 you know, once again, it just depends what's going on the rest of the board. How weak is black? How weak is white? What does black want to accomplish? And it really just depends. But the difference between these two is important. This is a more of a moyo. On the one hand, when black plays this way, it allows black to develop a bigger wall and make O17 a bit weaker than the other way. But on the flip side, first of all, there's corner AGA. White has a nasty cut here at Q17 if black doesn't do anything about it. And also, white's shape is pretty strong here. You know, white has gotten himself very strong shape. There's almost no way to attack this group. I mean, it's not exactly going to get white a huge amount of territory yet, but there's no real way black can attack it. Also, black's shape is a little bit awkward. Black has a empty triangle here as well. So black builds a wall, a big wall, but on the other hand, it's not necessarily the most efficient in the world. So on the flip side, if black plays this way, this is something of a trade, and this is much simpler. Black's wall is less thick, but on the other hand, white's shape is less complete. O17 is a little bit stronger as well, but white can be satisfied with this result, because if we compare, if white plays here and black plays here, naturally we can see that if white is allowed to stretch all the way out to here, it's a superior result for him. So if white can manage to force black to play R17, he can be usually happy that he forced black to play R17 rather than the other way. Tawari makes this look bad for black. Yes, so this is, yes, but, well, first of all, black Tanuki, but no, even locally, compared to the black playing the R16 stone, compared to white playing like this, and black playing like this, yes, it is inferior for black, absolutely. But that's the choice that white is giving black. Black will never play P14. P14. What, here? Where white has connected at C. Not understanding the question, unfortunately. Confused. R16 variation, right. Okay. And then what next? Black plays B, sure. White connects. Black C. Now if white Hane. Which Hane? Oh, this Hane? Or Q13 Hane. The one that white played at the beginning? White has a stone already at Q13. Okay. Okay, I was getting confused. Okay, so yeah, if we look at Tawari playing the moved stones in a different order, if white is allowed to do this, it is slightly inferior for black compared to white playing this way. Black is slightly inferior. But the idea is that sometimes black is forced to play this way. And if white can play R16 in such a situation where black is forced to play this way, then he's chosen for himself the proper Joseki. So if black does play here, white can consider it a local success usually for himself in comparison to just playing R15 directly. Oh, hi, Rue. So let's take a look at some of the other ones. So wouldn't play in what, the R16. Well, remember there's this variation that black can do instead of R17, which produces a different result with a different focus on the board. So it depends. R15, R16, N16. Oh, N16. Oh yeah, we'll go over that. Don't worry. This one. Ah, yes. This is a fun one. So this is a pretty aggressive way for white to play, but nevertheless is playable. The idea behind it, the idea behind it, of course, is to make white not weak on both sides. Black has a few ways of playing. The simplest one is to just play p17. And then when white pushes in at p18, black will go up here and play o16. And white will usually defend like this, and the black will defend at q18, and then the game will continue apace. Usually white will play something along these lines. And yeah, and so now you have a very, very interesting shape that has been created by the corner. And notice that white has not played the Atari here, and rather than playing at the cutting defense point at n17, white has chosen to play o18. Right, because there is still a good chunk of AGA in this corner. Yeah, exactly. Many people Atari there. Actually, you know, I played rather than o18. This is actually kind of funny. I played n17, which, by the way, this is wrong. Do not play n17 here. But I played n17 till I was about 2 dan. Kind of a funny mistake when I was having my game reviewed by someone who was struggling. Like, what? Seriously? You're still playing n17? You know that's wrong. But yeah, that's a bad one. The reason we play this way is because in this situation, black's corner is not yet at 100%. Well, usually black will do something to escape first, but there is a lot of things that white can do, namely the attach here. And this, of course, being the primary thing. And black descends, and white plays like this. All right. S18. Oh, yeah. Well, S18 is also... I don't think S18 is the only correct way. I don't... I mean, I know I've seen people do S18, absolutely. I don't think S18 is the only correct way, no. Absolutely not. I think they're both played. R18 doesn't kill. R18 doesn't kill. It depends. It depends on what's going on the rest of the board, whether black is sealed in or not. No. S18 is playable. I have seen S18 before. It really just depends on what's going on the rest of the board. There's a lot of complex things that can happen in this corner, but usually black will prevent himself from getting enclosed in the corner in the first place in an attempt to stop this. Actually, one of the more interesting moves that black can do is this. I always thought that this one was very interesting. The idea being that it's subtly threatening to go into the cut here and prevent white from making his stone safe, while at the same time attempting to reduce him on the outside. But this is that's a more complex way of doing it. The simplest way is just to play this, and this gets black out, and white will have to play something along these lines, some move over here to protect his cut. A good answer to R18 is S16. Yes, that's it's very good to go back here and take a look at that. You can trade. And then something along these lines is expected to occur. R18, R19 as a response. Oh, it's interesting. An interesting move. Let's see. What about... An interesting move. What about doing this? Is this not good enough? Seems like this is okay for white. No. I think white can play this way. So yeah, the tessage, the idea behind the R19 tessage is that black has this, which is a really fancy move. This is why the white cannot play R17 directly, because then this happens, and that stops it. And this is a really good counter. But I think black can, I think white can play this move, can't he? I don't recall seeing any refutations that I know of for this move. Yeah, I thought this was playable for white, because I don't know how black is supposed to stop it here. I mean, he has to allow this, and then, I mean, I suppose black can cut here, which isn't all bad, and black can make an exchange of it. S17 instead of 17. Yeah, the cut there is always there. No, I agree. Well, I mean, I guess it's just that it's left with this situation. This does create an interesting little ko. Creates a rather fascinating ko, actually. So, it can get all sorts of complexity. So, going back to where we started, this can get exceedingly complicated. Oh, if he's sealed in entirely? Yeah, I would not be surprised. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. S18 can probably kill if he's sealed in. Yeah, yes, you're right. So you're not wrong in that point, because this is the vital shape point for black to take locally. So yeah. No, well, if black is really sealed in here, this is the intuitive move. This is the natural move to kill, and the idea being that white will do this and turn it into one eye, and now black has no real method of making life for himself. It's not pleasant times. Or actually, what am I saying? You can just do this. No reason to even be fancy. Ha! So, yeah, Q19 first. Oh, Q19 first, really? Interesting. Oh, like this? Huh. Go figure. That seems nice. Anyway, we're getting off on a tangent. We can discuss those complexities in a bit. But let's go back to the central situation at hand. So we looked at A, and we looked at B a bit. Let's look at D. This is more of a bit of an obscure move. We'll look at C. Don't worry. This is a bit of an obscure move. It's not as commonly played. The idea behind it, both players will end up with a... Yep, he does. Both players will end up with slightly awkward shape at the end of this. And white wants to confuse black in handicap games, yes. Yeah, that can certainly be considered one possibility. So this is one common variation. And sometimes black can play S17 here, but usually S17 is pretty dangerous. This is much more common in terms of what black should do. And it ends up a somewhat similar result to the other ways. Sometimes black will just play here. And the idea, this is a more rare choice. The idea behind this is to leave white's shape as weak to attack in the future. But S15 is much less common. So this move usually isn't ideal because black will oftentimes respond this way. And if white defends, black can usually go here. And I don't think this is ideal for white usually, although it depends what's going on the right side of the board. If white has an extension already for his Q13 wall, I suppose this is playable. But usually, unless white has a special strategy where he is trying to build a big wall for the right side, this usually is not ideal. So one more point I wanted to go over in terms of the corner invasion. So this is more of a more of a subtle difference, but nevertheless an important one. It's also a very, very interesting move order question. So we already looked at black goes up here, and then white goes into the corner. And if white goes into the corner here, Black, of course, has two choices. He can slice in half here, or slice in half here, depending on what direction. If Black plays R15, White will naturally play here, and then Black will play R13 or S14. They're subtly different moves. We could basically S14 is designed to force White stones more into the bottom. It leaves White with the ability later to play this move, which, depending on what's going on the rest of the board, can be potentially annoying for Black. However, if Black plays this way, it gives White the AGA to play this move, which can also be annoying. And so they're subtly different moves, R13 and S14, and really, they depend upon what's going on the rest of the board. Which move is more annoying for Black? Subtly different moves to consider. Then the other choice, the most aggressive choice for Black, is to play S16. The idea is to disconnect these R14 and Q13 stones from R17 while attacking R17. Now this of course leaves Black with less solid shape. If later on, for instance, if White responds, and then say later on in the game he plays this, Black is not alive yet by any stretch of the imagination. It's an open fight as to who's going to win. So I like Q17. Well, actually, not as much. Well, so here's the thing. P14 is actually rather useful here. As we'll see, one of the key differences, we're going to look at a difference between two things here. So on the one hand, White can invade the corner immediately, right? And Black plays like this, White does this, and Black does this. And we already discussed this one a lot. But now let's compare it. Instead of this variation, what if White plays this move first, and lets Black go up, and then plays out this variation, and then Black plays whatever move he does at the end. If we compare our two, as soon as I can find it on this SGF, too many variations on the SGF. All right, if we compare this to the other way, what's the difference? What do these two stones? What do you guys make of these two extra stones? Is this better for White? Better for Black? What do you guys think? Which way is better for who? Yeah, the current board. Who is the current compared to the other way? Is the current board better for White or better for Black? Let's see, we have a vote for White. Lots of votes for White. We have a doesn't matter. Oh, we have a vote for Black. Wow. Oh, wash. It doesn't matter. Geez, a lot of different opinions. Well, only one of these is the right answer. So the actual answer to the question is this is actually slightly better for Black than the other variation. And let's take a look. The main reason why is, of course, yes, White does have a little bit more AGA with this stone now than he did before, but P14 is an incredibly useful stone here. Incredibly, incredibly useful. Because later on, Black goes here. And this is a Sente move. White cannot Tanuki from this move. He has to respond in some way. Because if he doesn't, Black will play here. And notice P14, notice what P14 is doing. Because of P14, this can be done. Now, if P14 didn't exist, then if P14 didn't exist, then you couldn't do this. But P14 is making a critical purpose. It is making M14 Sente, which is a relatively big gain for Black. Black really likes being able to take it in Sente. So P14 is actually very important. Actually, you will not see this being done that often by professionals these days in terms of this Q13 P14 exchange, because it's very annoying when that happens. So then the question becomes, well, why would anyone ever do that? You know, what's the point? Why would anyone in their right mind ever play Q13 first if it lets black get a slightly better result than just playing on this other way? Ah, yes, the AGA on the right. Yes, that's definitely part of it. But the other reason is let's take a look at the slightly different move order. M17 becomes a dumb move if white has a K16. Potentially. So let's change the move order up for a second. And this is where Go can get interesting. So if white plays this first and then dives in here, one of the variations we looked at was black just playing this way. And white defends and black defends. Right. In this case, now that Hane has become incredibly good for white. Locally, this is considered better for white. Although globally, depending on what's going on the whole board, sometimes this wall can be good enough for black. But purely locally, this is considered better for white. So white's Hane has become very good here, which is why oftentimes black will not allow that to happen. But let's change the move order for a second. What if white does not play this Q13 move that seems to help black so much? What if white decides that he's just going to dive into the corner directly? And then black plays here at Q17, and now the simple choice that white can do, of course, that we already looked at, is R16. But what if white decides to play Q13 now? What do you guys think? Is this just a trick play? Is this an aggressive move? Is it a solid move? Yes, we've all seen Q15. Oh, is it too late? Is it a bad move? Is it a good move? Any thoughts? It's a bad move. Out of order. Does out of order make it necessarily bad? Okay. Any other views? All about timing, right? So let's take a look at this. So so actually, this is a rather aggressive move. It does change the move order, but if black responds, standard like this, simply like this, then white gets to revert to this variation that, as we just discussed, is superior for white locally. We just discussed this variation. So black doesn't want white to get this kind of locally, slightly superior result. So he wants to stop that usually. If black wants to stop it, he will play R15. And now we have a very interesting situation that comes about. And you will see this in professional games sometimes, less so in some amateur games. But white is cut into three pieces. But black isn't entirely alive yet, and his shape is not 100%. So this is still an ongoing fight. White has one very common move here that he will play. Any ideas for white's move? Let's see. We have someone suggesting R13, P14. PS15, A1, of course, P15, Q18, S13. Great variety of moves to look at. Absolutely great. So let's take a look at some of them. So P14 is the first right move. This is one possible right move, depending on if white can make good use of his wall. Usually black will cut here, white will extend, oftentimes, and then black will usually, depending on what's going on the board, sometimes black will peep and then play this to eliminate the AGA that R17 has. And it's a trade, and it really depends what's going on in the rest of the board, whether or not this is an acceptable trade for black or not. How useful is white's wall? How strong is black in the area? But it's essentially a trade. Why isn't the peep Aji Keshi here? Well, the question here is, what is it? It does so. When you're looking at whether or not it's Aji Keshi, you have to ask, what does it take away? And it does take away something in that without that move, black could consider playing like this. It's true. And, well, right, so there's this peep here, but this peep is probably, I think we can agree, probably not going to be a great move in most situations. So it does take away that, but no, it does stop black from doing this. And so it is slightly Aji Keshi in terms of that, but depending on what's going on the rest of the board, it can be useful. For example, if black has a position in the upper left part of the board, he could use this move as a way to essentially attack white. If black is strong in the center, he could just go like this and consider start attacking white. But it's really situational dependent. It totally depends on the specific situation, whether or not N16 is a good peep or not. But no, excellent question. So P14 is one move, but let's say that white doesn't want to give black this big old corner. There's a few other choices to look at. So this is an interesting move. I haven't really seen this one that much. It seems possible, I suppose. The simplest way for black to respond, I guess, is like this. And, yeah, this seems playable for white. White gets an outside group, black gets a solid corner, and both sides can continue on. So yeah, S15 is playable, sure. It's not very common though. Let's see what else. So this is the right idea, but as we're going to look at in a second, F is a little bit better for everyone. F is a little bit better than A. This move, I don't like this move. This move seems to eliminate some Aji. When white goes here, it really hurts the Aji that R17 has. So not a huge fan. Yeah, that is an Aji Keshi peep. Yes. But the most common move that you will see is this move. And this is a very, very important move. This is looking at doing a few things. Naturally, it's looking at playing S15, of course. It's looking at building white some eye shape. And, of course, it's aiming for this move, but without giving black the same type of shape. So black then has a number of responses. Depending on what's going on, the most common black response is to double Hane right up here. And now this is a situation where we do not, as whites, where we almost always do not want to play P14. P14 is a Aji Keshi cut here, because it's eliminating the Aji that R14 has. When black fills in here, it's more difficult for white to play S15 later on to connect up to his R17 stone. So usually, white will play something along these lines and just pull back. And black here has so black has this weakness, and black actually has a creative move in terms of how he wants to in terms of how black responds here. Rather than just play a move like this, black actually has the response at Q15, which normally looks like a really, really stupid move. But in this particular rare case, it is actually a rather good move, because what it's attempting to do is trying to kill off the Aji at R17 while simultaneously trying to prevent white from using the cut here. And so it actually becomes a fairly decent move. And from here, there's a lot of complex things that can happen. Probably play a S14. Yeah, you could consider playing the S14. Well, see, the problem here is you can consider doing the S14, but white could consider potentially trading with you. If white wants to build center thickness, white could consider this, and there's still a ko left in the corner. If white wants to play ko later, there is still a ko. So white could actually play this, which is why black doesn't always play S14 here. But you could consider it, absolutely. Naturally, black will immediately play this move, and then fighting will continue apace. Well, yeah, and there's still AGA instead of S16, S17. Oh no, no, that's that's not very good. I mean, yeah, you can just do this. Question, fire away. How about P15 after Q15? What here? Oh, does white S15 take away the possible ko in the corner later? White, yes, it does, but the problem is that white doesn't want to leave himself with too many weak groups. So, in theory, white could, go like this, and then go like this, and then make himself a ko. And it is true that white is eliminating the AGA for this, but there's a few problems with this. First of all, white is weakening O17 substantially. Second of all, this group has become weaker, whereas S15 was once a great white move for eye space. Now white has maybe half an eye thus far, and if black is allowed to play a move around R10, white will not be thrilled with the situation. So it does take away this AGA, but it's taken away for a reason. Also, even after you play S15, it's not like S15 eliminates any and all AGA on the board. There is still this move that white can play later on. Would it not be just better to extend instead? Extend who, where? From R14. What do you mean? Towards the bottom, like R8. Oh, when? Like, say now? Like right now? You could consider that, I suppose. But the main reason why S15 is because of the Sente move that black has. So you play this right now, and black takes this move, which is a great forcing move. It stops white from taking S15 in Sente, because if white wants to take S15 now, ends in 100% gote. Whereas in comparison, if white takes S15 now, white can take it in Sente, and now play either way right, exactly. So we're talking about subtle details of AGA. But, so this is yeah. There's all sorts of variations to discuss. So this is one of the more complex ways that the fighting can turn out. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, we didn't even get to this move, did we? This is usually a pretty passive move. I would not recommend doing this, simply because black is usually going to get something along these lines, and even if white can go in here, sometimes black can actually play this move. Depends upon the situation. Sometimes this is playable, but this can actually lead to some really interesting complexity. But even if black just decides to play really, really, really simple, this is enough. Black's wall is hard as steel, and white's group still needs another move to escape. This is a more aggressive move. White can usually play this move, and now it gets to some very interesting fighting. If black attempts to play here, white can descend right here. Black can hane, white hane, black can double hane. And if white really works at it, he can kill off the corner, and black can take the outside. And white's corner looks fancy, and it's not a tiny corner, but it's only 15, 16 points. And black's thickness is pretty good. So black can play this way. The other way is to live in the corner, but this usually isn't as good for black because this happens, and this seems like a difficult fight for black to make work. So yeah, those so I was intending to go over some of the other approaches rather than just the regular one, but this one seemed to have taken up all of our time. So this was just you know, the basics about P14. Well, oh, this one. All right, we can well, this is not a usual move. Oh, did I not go over Q17 when? Oh, here. Right. So I didn't go over this, did I? So this can oftentimes just revert back to this way, which we're all very familiar with. And of course the other way is this way, which is usually difficult for white to make work. White usually cannot play this way. There's a few interesting things that white can consider. I've actually seen white pull back here like this, and then if black plays a which wedge? P15 for white. P15? What? I'm confused. Oh, Q15. Oh, this one. This one is fun. This one is very, very fun. So this one can get rather complicated rather quickly, actually. Yeah, the board can get pretty wild when this happens. Oops, misclick. But really depends. So I mean, even if black just does this, white's shape seems very flawed. I'm not a large fan of white in this case. Yeah, black is pretty good. Not a fan of white attempting that. Yeah. Sometimes I've even seen this before. And then black will fix and white will play something along these lines. Yeah, usually you have helper stones. No, I know the variation you mean. So, but yeah, we're running out of time and my voice is getting a bit sore. So, yeah, these were just you know, a scratching on the top of some of the more basic variations that you will find out of the Double Kakari. There are loads of variations that I did not go over. It's a very, very expansive set of moves. I hope if you just take some of these basic variations out of here and learn to really consider, you know, in what exact variation that you're maybe a high Kakari lecture, yeah. But you know, if you really consider what's really going on in the rest of the board in terms of which way to play, it can get very important. What Q13, P14, R15, R16, Q15. Oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't go over that one. That's a funny one. But okay, so yeah, 1 second. So we'll go over this one. So in this situation, black can actually let white push through if he wants. This is actually very fun for black. Normally you don't want someone to push through, but in this case, because black gets fourth line territory that's solid as nails, it's playable for black. So if white attempts to cut through, honestly, in this case, you can just allow him to. Alright, but yeah, that sums up the lecture. I hope everyone learned something. If anyone has any ideas for what to do next time, please feel free to send me a message, and I hope to see you all this Sunday. So that being said, I will see you all later.